welcome to the University of Law. In today's video, I'm going to be looking ahead at my pre-orders at Big Finish for 2025. I'll also mention some of the other releases that are coming up along the way, which you may also be looking forward to. So this is just a little thing where I kind of look ahead and maybe give a few predictions and just discuss what I'm excited about. So 24 was a stellar year, as I mentioned in my previous video. There's a lot of cliffhangers I'm looking forward to seeing how they pan out this year, especially with the 8th Doctor and 2nd Doctor. But we kick off the year with Classic Doctors New Monsters Volume 5, Faithful Friends. I'm especially looking forward to the Crittertains in this set because I've been looking forward to the Crittertains for a long time to be in a Big Finish. So yeah, that's my big takeaway. It's also the 2nd Doctor's debut in this kind of set. So that should be fun. We're seeing a lot of 2nd Doctor stuff at the moment, which is wonderful. I didn't get the Paternoster gang last in December, but that obviously had the 2nd Doctor in. And I haven't pre-ordered the Zygon set. I haven't listened to the Paternoster gang. I may be wrong, but I know there's Zygons in that set, and I'm wondering whether there's going to be a connection. Obviously, there's Zygons in both of these, and the 2nd Doctor's in both. So I'm wondering if there's a connection there. But yes, the Zygons are back with the 2nd Doctor, and also the Fugitive Doctor is making. Well, she made her debut in Coda, but she's getting her first proper set as well. Early this year, I think it's January as well, with the Daleks, and so it looks as though this year Big Finish they're starting with the earlier Doctors, and then as the year progresses, we're going to later Doctors because it's certainly a lot of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and Fugitive, and I assume then the Fugitive Doctor is pre-Hartnell. All that's coming in the kind of first quarter of the year. Interestingly, there was a great interview with Chris Kibnall in the latest Vortex, and in it he does discuss that they have talked about where the Future Doctor fits, for example. We're not going to hear that initially, but certainly the Big Finish creatives know where that's going. But it's as I mentioned in my last video, we've done a lot of Stephen Moffat stuff recently. I love how Big Finish can really take eras and run with some of the concepts that you perhaps can't mine on television because of the limits of budget and mainly time, because you've only got so many episodes with so many minutes in. And they've certainly done that for Stephen Moffat in the last few years. And we're seeing that now with Chris Kibnall. Now it's been a few years since that era has finished. We have the Fugitive Doctor, but also I believe I forgot their names now, but the race of people who look like dogs from Flux are going to be in Classic Doctors New Monsters, so that's going to be fun as well. And obviously there's a big Chris Kibnall thing coming up later this year, which I'll come to later. But it's all very exciting, especially given that was an era that was affected by COVID. So it'll be interesting to see how that gets enhanced at Big Finish with obviously the input of Chris Kibnall as an advisor. Then we get the 1st Doctor set for this year, which is The Living Darkness, which sees the return of Stephen Taylor. Last year we had Vicky, and this year we have Stephen Taylor, which nicely lines up with the Savages DVD release coming up around the same time, maybe a month or two later. So let's see who they get. I think they're going to do a companion a year, so let's see who comes next. Then we've got the 3rd Doctor Adventures, The Brain Drain. It's a Season 7 story, which again is going to be released around the same time that Season 7 comes out on Blu-ray. So I always wonder whether this is planned or a happy coincidence. It's certainly great, I think, for us as fans. I know there's obviously marketing. It's great to have that line up. Obviously, we want these things to do well, because if they do well, they'll make more of them. But I think actually for a fan, it's just nice to be able to sort of indulge and mine a particular era of Doctor and be able to watch the new restorations of Blu-ray and listen to us audio set in the same era and just bring it all together. Then we have Genesis the Cybermen. Interesting to see whether this is a replacement or an alternative to Spare Parts, but certainly an interesting origin story which was going to come out in the 80s. I believe Adric's in it, isn't he? So I believe it's pre-Earthshock, and see how that works as well. Then we've got Grandfather Time. It's not been confirmed yet, Susan's War, but I'm assuming from the name that the War Doctor's back, or maybe the 8th Doctor. I'm certainly hoping we get a kind of reunion with Alex, her son. I'm hoping we get that. It was kind of hinted at in the last set, and I hope we get that again at least at some point. How it would fit with the 8th Doctor range at the moment, I don't know, because of that cliffhanger, unless this is a bit like a Marvel thing where it cross-pollinates and we're going to see a resolution to that box set, because they haven't announced the 2nd set yet, whether we see that resolved here, and then this then feeds into the second set. I'm not sure. They don't usually do that at Big Finish. It would certainly be fun and and ambitious. I'd love to see that. And we've got the first volume of the 14th season, would you believe, of the Fourth Doctor at Big Finish. We've got Leela back. So looking forward to that because I do love their dynamic, especially on audio. They've really gone for it, haven't they? On audio, really enhanced. I think the chemistry feels even better on audio. They're able to go places with it on audio, especially the kind of mentoring relationship with the Fourth Doctor and Leela. I thought we've been able to delve into a little bit more in this format where you've got more time to do that than you would do on television. As I said, this great thing with Big Finish. I always say this, that you just get to do things that you don't have time to do in a limited time slot with only a certain number of episodes a year and all the other pressures that come with that. Then we've got, alongside the Zygons, the Krynoids have got their own season. I guess it's an anniversary for all of them from 1975, I'm guessing. It's 50th. Yeah, 50th birthday. So the Krynoids are back, and this time I think the Eighth Doctor is involved, as well as Reece Shearsmith, which is really exciting. Then we've got the first volume of a 12-part story with the Fifth Doctor and his original TARDIS crew. And again, there were some great concepts last year that were mined across 3-hour stories. I'm interested to see what they delve into with these Fifth Doctor when you've got 6 hours to play with. I'm really excited about these longer form stories. There is another First Doctor set. We've got the return of the Companion Chronicles next year. We've got stuff with Susan, we've got stuff with Dodo, stuff with Vicky, and stuff with Stephen. So looking forward to kind of dipping into those different characters. The First Doctor era is one of my favourites. Season 3 is my favourite season. So looking at the fact that we've got Vicky, Stephen, and Dodo, I'm hoping we get an awful lot of Season 3 stuff in this set. I'm really looking forward to it. We don't know much about the Sixth Doctor's stuff next year. I don't think Jacqueline Rayner is involved anymore. I'd love to see Hebe Harrison return. That would be really fun to kind of get that continuation. By the same way, I'd love to get a resolution to his travels with Flip and Constance, because that's been left dangling. So I'd love to see how that resolves as well. We've got the second half of the 12-part Fifth Doctor story. Again, no details for the Seventh Doctor. Is he still travelling with Harry and Naomi? I can't remember now. I think he is. So that I'd love a set with them to kind of continue or wrap that up. I'd also love to see more of him with Mel and Ace, which was happening in the main range, and they haven't wrapped that storyline up. I'd love to see where that's going with like a Mel post Dragonfly. So I hope they do that this year. Obviously, more Fourth Doctor and Leela, and here we have it. The Fugitive Doctor made their debut in 2024, and now the 13th Doctor makes their debut in 2025. I'm especially excited about this because it's just the 13th Doctor and Yaz, so we've not got a massively crowded TARDIS. We can really focus on just these two characters, and I believe it's going to be pre-Dan, because Dan leaves during Power of the Doctor, so there's no time where they're... The only time where they're travelling together, just those two characters, is prior to Flux. So it's after the Dalek special and before Flux. So we're dealing with... It's before we're dealing with the ramifications of the Flux, which are we're kind of looking at on television at the moment, aren't we? So it's kind of not treading on anyone's toes. But what we are dealing with is the ramifications of that Dalek civil war, of the fact that she's been in prison, of the fact that those two other companions have recently departed. Also ramifications of the Timeless Child potentially. So there's an awful lot there which I think you could... There's these Cyber Lords out there. The Time Lords have been destroyed. The Masters at Large. There's an awful lot of stuff that, because of the pandemic, perhaps wasn't able to have been done in season 13, because it was a much shorter season. So I'm hoping, because this is a much longer season, I think it's going to be about 12 episodes every other month for about 2 years. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. Certainly there's a lot of creative potential there, and I'm hoping they capitalise on a lot of that. I'd love, I wasn't massively keen when I first saw the Cyber Lords. There was a lot of stuff in the era at the time which I wasn't massively keen on, but I'd actually, now that there's a bit of time has passed, I'd love to see how it could play out, with obviously discussion with Chris Chibnall and his vision on how it was meant to play out had there not been a pandemic, affecting production. I'd love to really get the chance to see these stories unfold and the potential of these stories. So I'm excited about that. Then we've got the next Second Doctor Beyond War Games set. Really excited about that. Great cliffhanger. Let's see where that goes. Sixth Doctor set. We've got another Lost story. We don't know what that's going to be yet. It could be any. It could be anything, couldn't it? I'm hoping it. It'd be great if it was a new series, like a ninth or 10th Doctor story. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Then we've got the first Doctor Unbound. So I think possibly that it is the David Bradley First Doctor picking up from the First Doctor Adventures series, because that ended on a cliffhanger, and I reckon it's our canonical First Doctor team, as played by the Adventure in Space and Time crew, that fall into the Unbound universe temporarily, then come back to our universe. So you can do things in an Unbound universe before returning. That's my take on it. I don't know that for certain. That's how it reads to me. But I'm certainly excited to see David Bradley back in the role after it must be about 5 years. So I am very excited about that. More Fourth Doctor and Leela. Um, we've got the first set of the War Master with a new showrunner, and I'm hoping we get some War Doctor stuff this year. That'd be really exciting. It's called His Greatest Trick, so I'm intrigued by that. I'd certainly like to see more of the Time War epics that we got earlier on in the War Doctor range. I'd love to see more of actually, Daleks and battles and him really involving in the war rather than being on the outskirts. I'd love to see more of that. This will presumably be a Third Doctor and Sarah story, because from what I've gathered, they've taken in turns. So there was a Joe Grant in was the last one. Then the one in January is going to be from season 7 with Liz Shaw. So this will presumably will be season 11 with Sarah Jane. Eighth Doctor. So again, I'd love a Charlie and I'd love a set with Charlie and my mind's gone completely blank. Audacity. I'd be happy both of them being, but I'm guessing it'll be one on them and one with Liv and Helen. Although I'd probably prefer the other set being H Doctor and Lucy Miller would be really fun. Gallifrey Warham, this got moved from last year, so interesting to see where this goes. Obviously, it's Leela and the General, and let's see if we get Rassilon back. Maybe. I think these are still set in the Eighth Doctor era, aren't they? From what I've seen online, so maybe we might get some of the Eighth Doctor. Who knows? And we certainly know that there's hopefully going to be an additional volume of Eighth Doctor Time War coming out, because we know that the last one was called Volume 1. They haven't announced a Volume 2, but that should be coming. And I guess it'll be around this time as well. And that comes to the end of 2025. I'm sure there will be more announcements as the year goes on. I'm sure we'll get some Ninth Doctor stuff coming out. We'll definitely get some War Doctor stuff out. So I'm guessing we can add 2 War Doctor sets in next year. And I'm hoping maybe some 10th Doctor, even 14th Doctor stuff with David Tennant. But what do you think? What are you looking forward to the most about Big Finish in 2025? Do let me know in the comments below. What would you like to see? As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I look forward to speaking to you soon.